Welcome to a July Sunday morning with the Unitarian Universalist community of Charlotte. I'm Jay Leach. My pronouns are he, him, his, and I'm one of the ministers of this congregation. A couple of weeks ago, I took a few days off to go hang out as a tourist in my hometown, Greenville, South Carolina. It's a far more interesting place than the town in which I grew up, with a wonderfully walkable downtown full of artistic and natural beauty. Just beyond the dramatic waterfall right in the heart of town, there's another natural landmark that has been decades in the making. Referred to locally as the Medusa tree, or simply as the root tree, it is an American beech perched on a precipice in such a way that its root system is exposed. Wandering down to it in a dawn walk, I captured this dramatic sight in a few photographs that are featured as images in today's service. Standing there in that moist morning air, the city just waking up around me, I couldn't help but think of our community's theme for this summer: Roots Hold Me Close. Greenville's Medusa tree depicts just that. A tree growing at a dramatic, gravity-defying angle for decades, held close by its labyrinthine coil of roots. This summer, we're reflecting in services and in other ways on what roots us, what holds us in, as Howard Thurman says, the good times and the tempests. Thanks for joining us this morning, or whenever you're watching this virtual service. To our guests, a special welcome. I continue to meet those who found us first in this form, as a congregation on a screen. If you are watching today and would like to connect with us, contact Kelly Green, who is our membership coordinator, to arrange a conversation. And to those of you faithful members who continue to join us in this way, welcome as well. If you're watching on Sunday morning, July 11th, pause a moment and go to our public Facebook page where you'll find a greeting posted. You can respond with messages of welcome to one another in real time, a reminder that we are together, even when we are apart. Welcome. for all of the freedom and the flexibility in our liberating faith. Certain things held in common with all Unitarian Universalists root us, ground us, make us who we are. Among them is our notion of the chalice, which we and almost all other Unitarian Universalist congregations light at the beginning of each service. In this moment, this pause between our long history and our ambitious aspirations, may this light serve to remind us about the very best of who we are. As this service was beginning, we encountered words from Wangari Maathai, this powerful Kenyan activist, political figure, and founder of the Green Belt movement, was the first African woman to win the Nobel Peace Prize. In words keenly relevant to our theme for this summer, Wangari Maathai wrote, "A tree has roots in the soil, yet reaches to the sky." It tells us that in order to aspire, we need to be grounded, and that no matter how high we go, it is from our roots that we draw sustenance. This summer, we're asking one another, including those reflecting in our services, what roots you? What grounds you? What makes you who you are? And what is it that you can't not do? To what is your life committed? Today, we experience the first of our member reflections in this series of summer services. Each brings their own unique perspectives to these questions. So with gratitude for their contributions, today we welcome first Jenny Sullivan, then Scott Royal, and finally Beth Musset, as we continue our theme, Roots Hold Me Close.
Hello, my name is Jenny Sullivan, and I have been a member of UUCC for 5 years, but also joined back in 1981 for another 4. As I thought about how I am rooted, I would have to say my history. Looking back from the perspective of my middle 80s, I know I have experienced many growth influences, but I would not be who I am today without my early years, when as in the 5th of 6 children, I experienced the love of an extended family, a world war, constant financial stress, an alcoholic father, and a courageous mother. Those which were difficulties could be called anvils. That is the kind of issue that either hammers you into new growth or crushes you. My anvils always seemed to be the growth kind. Some of those were feeling different, living in a prosperous neighborhood in which my grandfather had built his home, which we occupied as a family without a steady income. Not being able to dress as fashionably as my high school peers, choosing academics and sports to offset that fact. Almost being kicked out of my nursing program for a mistake that was not my fault. Having to leave a marriage very suddenly with 2 children in California and return to my family in Ohio. Getting into the wrong job and finding out that being laid off from it unexpectedly might not be a bad thing. Observing my daughter's slide into serious mental health issues, ending with her suicide at her age 47. I survived all that and was whole. Miracles do happen to UUs. However, there were many more opportunities for positive growth than there were anvils. Deep roots were created by living in an entirely different part of the country, the West Coast, for 12 years, away from my family. Getting a graduate degree and working in a variety of nursing positions made possible by that education. Finding Unitarian Universalism after 10 years of not being churched and relishing its freedom to become a more spiritual person without all the structure I had experienced earlier. Meeting a former Catholic religious brother, 25 years older than I was, and marrying him after 18 days and enjoying his uniqueness for 37 years. Traveling to Europe many times to enjoy the French countryside with my sister and other family members and new friends. Traveling to South Africa for 2 weeks. Being part of 6 ongoing women's groups, one lasting 40 years and the others averaging 10 years. I am older than any of the members of those groups, which tends to keep me young. Participating at Myers Park Baptist Church in developing a unique children's program and participating in it for 10 years, watching it grow exponentially during my time there. I am rooted by both the anvils and the opportunities. Being grounded is an ongoing process for me. I have never taken to the usual forms such as meditation and yoga, as I am easily bored by them. My best shot at it is expressing gratitude. I began a daily gratitude practice about 4 years ago as a result of a Luna Rising workshop. I usually don't stick with these kinds of daily activities, but I found this one continuously interesting. How did I choose the best things as the day ended? The experiences range from the highly spiritual to the most banal. One time I was grateful for a great rug shampooer, and that's pretty banal. They were written down so I could review them at will. Although I only kept up the written form for 2 years, I now find that I am noticing things for which to be grateful all the time. A good parking place, getting my Roku TV to work again, seeing my grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and great-greats. The list goes on and on. Thus, I ground myself deeply in my everyday life, which is the only life I have. As an outgrowth of my appreciation for my long life, robust health, a varied nursing career, and deep UU faith, I am called to commit to a life full of volunteerism. It began at age 16. These days, these activities involve working with homeless people through Roof Above and Room in the Inn, doing a variety of jobs for Hospice of Charlotte, shelving books at 3 CMS elementary schools, participating in political organizing and campaigning, being on my HOA board, and teaching anti-racism classes. During the pandemic, many of these activities were curtailed, so I accommodated by many Zoom meetings with book clubs, spirituality group, teaching, and meeting my family and friends online. All that saved my spiritual and mental self. I thus had the experience of not being able to do what I must do until that time comes again. My soul and I survived, but it was not the same. Those activities are slowly coming back into my life, leading to a much appreciated wholeness. These varied services challenge me to learn new things, which I must do, as it builds and sustains me to be who I am. My history, my energy, my health, my activities, my relationships, and my family contribute to create my present self, a teacher, a helper, and a sustainer of all life. Thank you.
Hello, my name's Scott Royal, and I'm helping to kick off the Roots Hold Me Close series this Sunday, and looking forward to sharing some of my life story with you. So strap in and let me tell you a little bit about myself. So family holds me close pretty much. My sister and I grew up in the country in a farm in northeastern Ohio. And we had a great childhood, learned how to ride and show horses. We went to 4-H meetings. We walked to the school bus. It was way down the street. And we relied a lot on each other. That trust that we had with each other to help us understand in this place, our place in the world, gave us a good foundation from which to build on. We spent a lot of time together doing chores on the farm. We lived a fairly simple life. And so it was an excellent childhood to help me build from. My mother's now 89 years old and still plays tennis weekly in a league, and is a volunteer at a retirement community heading up the Native Plant Landscaping Committee. My father's a World War II veteran, and he still gets around. He's 94. He's a little bit slower with his walker. I absolutely adore the woman that I'm married to, Dawn, for 25 years now. We love watching movies and cooking together. She keeps me grounded through the good times and the bad. Finding simple pleasures and living in the moment is one of the goals that I seek daily. A foundation that my parents shared with me to work hard and get it, whatever it is, done, and that few important things in life are easy. Most things take work and careful cultivation. What is my life committed? Well, much of my current focus is helping to make a little bit better world. I spend a fair amount of time volunteering for causes that help both the environment and other people. My 2 daughters and I clean out one of the creeks in our neighborhood for the Mecklenburg Stormwater Adopt-A-Stream program. It's a good excuse to get the family together and put on the muck boots to clean out the brush and trash from one of the tributaries of McMullen Creek. And one of my pet peeves is litter, by the way. Another opportunity that I use to make the world a little bit better is volunteering with Mental Health America. I made an observation watching the PBS NewsHour a couple years ago that people with mental health disabilities are severely underserved. I wanted to see if I could make a difference locally and found it an opportunity via the United Way volunteer services. Mental Health America has a program that pairs patients that have severe mental health related issues with companions, or they call them compeers, that offer them an ear and to spend time with and help as a companion. Often the simple things work. I spend time with somebody that has severe drug-resistant depression, and as a compeer friend, we regularly get together via the phone or take a walk together on the Greenway and talk things out. Many people with depression are somewhat isolated. They need that human touch to help them navigate the day. What else do I spend my time doing? I spend a fair amount of time this spring up in the mountains of North Carolina, getting to know some of the nooks and crannies of our state, talking to interesting friends and other people, listening to their perspectives is always interesting. Whether canoeing on the French Broad River up in Boiling Springs, hiking and camping in Linville Gorge, or fishing on Moss Lake in Kings Mountain, it's been a great year discovering some of the more subtle pleasures this place in the world has to offer. The last thing I'll add is that I love working with my hands. I'm a hobby woodworker and have been for 25 years, and I love shaping wood into different forms. Starting out, I made toys for my two girls, and then I soon graduated to furniture and enjoy turning wood on the lathe as well. It gives me great pleasure to see those boards start out as flat lumber and turn them into something that's useful and pleasing to the eye, and that it has a smooth finish feel. Landscaping and bird watching are generally high on my list of favorites as well. Really enjoy that. In closing, my philosophy has been to keep it simple, and that's what keeps me grounded. Thanks for spending a few minutes with me today. Take care.
Hi, my name is Beth Massey, and I've been a member of the UCC for about 10 years now. The two big commitments of my life are motherhood and art. When the kids were very young, it felt like these two commitments competed with each other a bit, with motherhood always winning, of course. Once the kids woke up from their naps, painting time was over. While it was necessary to separate my two commitments then, now that my kids are older, it's long past time to stop siloing them, especially because kids and art get along so well together. I do appreciate privacy and solitude when I paint, especially when my son is playing video games loudly and I'm trying to concentrate. But in general, I can invite the kids to participate in creating with me now, and I need to do that more. If you'd asked me a year and a half ago what I couldn't not do, the answer would have been easy: paint. I can't not paint. When I look at the art I made last spring, it is clearly art therapy. I spent a lot of time painting people as trees and flowers, babies as flower buds. I was coming to terms with mortality at a time when a lot of people were dying. There was a heightened awareness of spring and the contradiction of flowers blooming amidst the daily body counts. I was comforting myself. Towards the end of quarantine, in the darkest days of early 2021, I became keenly aware of how much my kids needed me to be present with them. I stopped trying to make art and became available anytime the kids wanted company or entertainment. I believe this was the right decision. However, I can no longer say I can't not paint. Not painting certainly took a toll on me, though. We all made it through this year with a lot of unmet needs. I need to work harder on my juggling game and not be so dependent on privacy so that I can meet both our families and my artistic needs going forward. I'm just now getting to the point where I can find things to be truly grateful for the past year. Quarantine forced me to remember before it's too late and the kids are grown that they are the best things in my life. They are not just distractions from what I want to do, they are my life. Just as last spring I was able to slow down and watch my garden grow, I got to slow down and watch my kids grow. I was surprised at how much the past year wiped me out, despite how good our family had it. What really helped me through this year was the network of amazing moms I am grateful to know who could care about everyone's kids, not just their own. My mom is at the top of that list. Thank you for the opportunity to reflect on who I am and where I am after this past year. Hope to see you soon in person.
For our meditation for today, I offer Blessing from John O'Donohue. So I invite you now to quiet yourself, to deepen your breathing, and to close your eyes. On the day when the weight deadens on your shoulders and you stumble, may the clay dance to balance you. And when your eyes freeze behind the gray window and the ghost of loss gets into you, may a flock of colors, indigo, red, green, and azure blue, come to awaken in you a meadow of delight. And when the canvas frays in the small boat of thought, and a stain of ocean blackens beneath you, may there come across the waters a path of yellow moonlight to bring you safely home. May the nourishment of the earth be yours. May the clarity of light be yours. May the fluency of the ocean be yours. May the protection of the ancestors be yours. And so may a slow wind work these words of love around you, an invisible cloak to mind your life. We'll be exploring our theme throughout July and August, both in services and in opportunities, including in-person gatherings in our facility at 234. See our website and our electronic newsletter Currents for more information. Weather permitting, we are gathering every Sunday at 11 a.m. for Summer Sing, an in-person opportunity to see one another and to enjoy both singing together and hearing others sing. Join us today, weather permitting, at 234 in the parking lot. Our hearts remain heavy, and our prayers continue for places of pain nearby and around the world. For those grieving in Surfside, Florida, for those disrupted by the tropical storm, for victims of violence in the streets and at the hands of police, for lives in chaos yet again in Haiti, for all who are judged, derided, excluded, or oppressed because of their race, national origin, ethnicity, gender, orientation, economic condition. May our prayers and our compassion strengthen that mystical bond binding each to all. Within our own community, we are holding with love and in our prayers the family and friends of our member Barbara Bass, whose life we will celebrate in a graveside service that I will lead this Saturday at Sharon Memorial Park. And Margie Storch, who is among our many members carrying concern for an aging, ailing parent. In Margie's case, concern for her mom. We hold all of these with love and in our prayers. We are an independent, self-sustaining congregation. We are the only ones whose support makes possible who we are and what we do. Thank you for your continued generosity. As we begin a new congregational year, thank you for pledges made and pledges honored. We are grateful. Thanks again to Beth, to Jenny, and to Scott. Thanks to John Herrick, and to our guest musicians from the archives, Christina Pecci and Keith Kusterer. May the spirit of life infuse you with renewed vitality. May your heart sing with compassion, your hands move in the shape of justice. May there be wings to set you free. And may there be now and always roots to hold you close. Go with courage.